The demons have been defeated in this chamber. We have passed the bill by the grace of God.
Senate passes much anticipated petroleum industry bill, approves 3% for host community trust fund.
We need every support from financial institutions.
Federal government applauds planned additional $2.5 billion investment by Afrexim Bank.
I want to further assure participants that every effort will be made to address the challenges.
Vice President Oshibajo launches 28th edition of MSME's clinic, describes small businesses as engine of an ending economic growth.
We assure you that none of the collaborators, irrespective of their standing in the society, will all face the full wrath of the law.
An information minister commends joint security operations on Nnamdi Kanu's arrest, assures Nigerians of a fair, credible trial. Hello, good evening, and thanks for joining us on NTN Network News tonight. I'm Joseph Johnson in Abuja. Michael Olale will be joining me from Lagos. Vice President Yemi Oshibajo has explained that the current administration is passionate and focused on ensuring that micro, small and medium enterprises get necessary support from the federal and state governments. The Vice President said this at the 28th edition of the National Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic in Dutse, Jigawa State, where he also distributed agricultural machineries and equipment provided by the state to 922 beneficiaries. State House correspondent Gideon Ifade reports.
Vice President Yemi Oshibajo, accompanied by Governor Abubakar Badaro, his deputy Umar Namadi, and Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment Marian Katagum, toured the exhibition ground where various local products are on display. Vice President Oshibajo had one-on-one interaction with the participants and acknowledges their efforts, promising that the federal government will continue to give support and provide an enabling environment for their businesses to thrive. The Vice President also commends the state governor for collaborating with the federal government in the implementation of the various federal programs in the state for the benefit of the people.
I want to further assure participants that every effort will be made to address the challenges and bottlenecks that they may be facing. I must also encourage you to bring any of the issues, especially the issues to do with approvals and all of that, to the attention of the MSME Clinic Secretariat between today and tomorrow to get assistance and quick responses from some of the relevant agencies.
On his part, Governor Abubakar Badaro says the federal government continues to support the state in providing road infrastructure, dams, water for irrigation, and other support to traders, farmers, and even social intervention for the vulnerable in the state.
His Excellency the President also recently tasked our Vice President, who is leading the steering committee of the National Poverty Reduction and Growth Strategy. Tax was lifting 100 million out of poverty in 10 years. The President believes the Vice President will deliver, and we so believe so.
For every state and local government in the country needs to identify specific areas of comparative advantage, particularly in agriculture and other resource endowments, and strive to optimize competencies.
Still in Jigawa State, the Vice President also joined the state governor in the distribution of agricultural machineries and equipment. Before departing Dutse, Vice President Oshibajo inaugurated a 5.2 kilometers road, which the state governor dedicated to the president for facilitating the various loans through the National Economic Council for the Development of Infrastructure in States. In Dutse, Jigawa State, Jide Onifade, NTN News.
And Vice The President has also tasked chairmen of local government areas to take personal responsibility in addressing crimes arising from mining activities as the federal government finalizes work on a revenue formula to compensate host communities in the mining industry. Vice President Oshibajo stated this at the Sustainable Mining Conference with the 774 local chairmen. Mia Ogede reports.
44 solid minerals in 500 locations in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, buried in the bowels of the mountains. It is a paradox of some sort. Nigeria suffering in the midst of plenty due to management challenges.
Mining is hard work.
A control room as it were, the media men seated. Then the Vice President and top players in the solid minerals sector joined virtually. Vice President Osinbajo came prepared, touching on issues of resource management, federal, state, local government relations in unearthing the hidden wealth and reading criminals out in the mining forest formed part of the VP's offering.
Hiring and equipping of armed groups by illegal but powerful mining concerns in many of our resource-rich areas is clearly fueled by the chaotic regulatory environment. The federal government, states and local governments have to jointly develop working arrangements to ensure that mining is attractive to investors, profitable for states and local governments. We must find a formula for compensating the communities for environmental degradation and erosion.
Out of the 44 minerals, 7 have been prioritized at the moment by the federal government, and getting the best of these 7 low-hanging fruits is the assignment before the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, state executives, and local government chairmen.
And the Nigerian Governors Forum, which I head, will continue to work with the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development to deepen the objective of cooperative federalism and beneficial participation of all stakeholders in the Nigerian mining sector.
It demonstrates our zeal and preparedness to welcome global investment partners. We have put in place incredible incentives to support investors and to unlock the sector.
2 gold refineries almost ready in Nigeria. This will put an end to the exportation of raw mineral resources to other countries, the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development assured. Mia Ogede, NT News.
Let's head to the legislature now, where the Senate has passed the Petroleum Industry Bill, which it says, when signed into law, will reflect the yearnings of stakeholders in the oil and gas sector and to make the market more competitive in Nigeria. At the House of Representatives, the report on the PIB was considered and approved. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Consideration of the report began with a closed-door session involving the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources and the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. 2 hours after the executive session, senators began clause-by-clause consideration of the bill presented by the Senate Joint Committee on Petroleum Downstream, Upstream and Gas.
One passed into law will strengthen the accountability, transparency of the NNPC Limited as a full-fledged Karma company under statutory regulations, oversight with better returns to its shareholders, the Nigerian people.
This gas flaring is making people sick. It is damaging the environment. The remediation we seek is not construction of pipelines.
They are optimistic that the bill, which is made up of 5 chapters which include governance and institutions, administration, host communities development, fiscal framework and miscellaneous provisions, will bring about the long-awaited change in the oil and gas sector. But a point of order from Senator Ahmed Bakaita resulted in the reduction of the 5% for Host Communities Development Fund to 3%.
The amendment is just instead of 5% to read 3%.
This elicited a call for division from Senator George Sekibo, which was eventually withdrawn.
That you increase the number a little bit and put the question again.
The bill also made provision for 30% of funding for exploration of frontier basins across the country and making the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation a commercial and limited liability company.
Those in favor that this bill be now read the 3rd time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. At least The demons have been defeated in this chamber. We have passed the bill by the grace of God. And let me also say that this is one of the products of the executive and the legislature working together.
Meanwhile, as the House of Representatives, the mood during the consideration of the reports on PIB depicts eagerness of members to pass and forward the bill to the executive for assent.
251, 252, 253, 254, 253. These are carried. You carry also.
Following an amendment by the chairman of the committee, Mohammed Tahir Mungunu, the percentage of development fund for host communities was increased from 2.5% to 5%. The speaker described the consideration and approval of the PIB as landmark achievements.
A 318th section law. It was no mean feat at all. And history, this House, this Ninth Assembly, will be recorded on the right side of history.
This bill has suffered a protracted and checkered history of postponements in the National Assembly. Against this backdrop, Mr. Chairman, honorable members, we are on the verge of making history today.
This is the first time in more than 2 decades that the bill scaled this process of legislation as the House of Representatives. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NCA News.
By far, one of the most delayed bills before the National Assembly, the Petroleum Industry Bill, took 18 years and 4 different sessions to make history. In this report, Ignatius Nkwot takes a look at the journey of the proposed law.
June 2021 marks the end of an era in Nigeria's top legislative arm of government, the termination of the Petroleum Industry Bill 18 years parliamentary journey. The Petroleum Industry Bill was conceived during the Olusegun Obasanjo administration in 2000 as part of recommendations by the Oil and Gas Sector Reform Implementation Committee, headed by the late Dr. Rilwanu Lukman. Its first legislative courtship with the National Assembly was in the 6th Assembly in 2003 as an executive bill under the late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. Like a new bride, the Petroleum Industry Bill received great acceptance by the legislators in view of its potential to reform Nigeria's oil and gas sector, open up the industry, attract investors, and give adequate attention to host communities. But at the time, it turned out into a parliamentary tug of war, and its courtship with the 6th Assembly did not go beyond second reading. The 7th Assembly also failed to pass it, while the 8th Assembly broke the bill into 4 versions. That is, the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill, Petroleum Hosts and Impacted Community Bill, Petroleum Industry Administration Bill, and the Petroleum Industry Fiscal Bill. That assembly was able to pass only the governance version, which did not receive presidential assent due to some critical observations made by the executive.
Because it had so many what was called impurities then, so many reservations, so much monies were given to different of the agencies under the petroleum, and then Mr. President considered that there will be less money available for the Federation account to distribute.
In virtually every point of engagement, we have had so many challenges to do with some political reasons, some issues, even sentiments as regards issues to do with the host communities, issues to do with the cost of oil pricing.
The Ninth National Assembly, in consultation with the executive, ensured that the areas of contention were addressed, especially the regulatory authority and the percentage of dividends to host communities. This time, as a single bill from the executive has been passed by the Senate.
First time in this, within these 2 years, we had a retreat. We never had it before in the history of this assembly, where the executive and the legislature will spend 3 days to have a retreat.
The enactment of the Petroleum Industry Bill into law is long overdue, having engulfed huge sums of money for retreats and consultations since 2003. It has seen Nigeria incur losses from regulatory uncertainties in the sector, with some individuals and companies taking advantage of the legal loopholes.
I know you must have caused the federal government huge sums of money doing retreat abroad, even in Nigeria. But the good news is that the oil-producing communities in Nigeria will have a sigh of relief with this bill.
The passage of this bill into law is expected to be the game changer that will fully unlock the Nigerian oil and gas sector. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
All right, now the Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, Timmy Silva, joins us in the studio to speak on the passage of the PIB. Minister, you're welcome to NTA Network News.
Thank you. Good evening.
All right, so PIB passed, finally passed, after 18 years. A cheering news for you, isn't it?
It is indeed. I mean, I believe now that the oil industry can heave a sigh of relief.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, so put in proper context or perspective, if you like, you know, this passage of the bill, just tell us, what does it imply, especially for the private sector participation in the industry? What does it imply?
It implies clarity and certainty. Because if you want to invest in an environment, you need clarity in the laws, in the investment environment, in the fiscal terms. You need certainty that these laws will be what they are for a certain period of time within which you can plan. But if you don't have certainty, you don't know where the laws are going. I mean, you are in the process of changing the laws for this long. You know, once you are in the process of changing the laws, it puts a lot of people on hold because they want to see the complexion of the laws before they come in to invest. So everybody was in a sit down and look position, waiting to see where the laws were going, where the fiscal terms were going, so that they can be certain and invest. So this passage of the PIB will now introduce that certainty because they know that this is where the law is. This is how the law is in Nigeria, and that for the foreseeable future, this is the fiscal terms, this is the operating environment, and then they can come in to invest. So we have actually introduced a very critical factor in the operating environment, that which is certainty, and we expect that a lot of investors will take advantage of this.
Talking about investment, how will free enterprise foster growth in investment opportunities, you know, for the sector in terms of a short, medium, and ultimately in the long term?
Of course, like I said, I mean, investors will now have certainty, and of course, it will allow them to take positions in in the investment environment, and of course people, international investors from all over the world who are waiting. A lot of people are waiting to see where our laws are going, and this actually is a beautiful day for the investment climate in Nigeria, and I believe that we'll all benefit from it.
Okay, let me ask you this. What and who is likely to, you know, continue to determine the price of products for consumers? Because a lot of them at the moment are worried about this.
The price,
you know, about private sector taking
what we have always said is let market forces determine the price of product. Let us not continue with this subsidy environment, because it actually takes the wind out of the sail of investors. Why are refineries not developing? Why are private sector people not developing for refineries? Because they know that if they come and build a refinery, they will be required to sell the product at a subsidized rate, which will not be optimal for the operation of their refineries. So they are waiting to see, and luckily for us, there is a provision in the PIB that allows for market to determine product prices. So you see that with the PIB passed, it will really lead to an exponential investment in the Nigerian environment, both in the upstream sector, in the midstream sector, and I'm sure also the downstream sector will boom.
Okay, so now that the passage, we are celebrating the passage of the bill. What are your expectations, and how soon will Nigerians begin to, start enjoying or having that deep sense of satisfaction, of being Africa's largest producer of crude?
Well, of course, with the passage, we expect that there will be a lot of investment, and the oil industry produces value more from generating activities. If there is activity, then of course the people will now get the benefit. For some time, there has been no new investment in the Nigerian environment. For some time, no FID had been taken. In fact, we had to almost force our way to take the Train 7 FID. Egina was the only FID that was taken and the only project that was undertaken within this period. With the PIB passed, we see a lot of investment coming into the country, a lot of activities generated in the industry, and that activity that will be generated will translate to a lot of opportunities for Nigerians, because a lot of employment opportunities will be created from these activities, and of course a lot of businesses also will benefit from these opportunities.
Thank you very much, Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, Timothy Silva. Thank you for explaining all that to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we take some messages now. Do stay with us. We are back shortly.
The federal government of Nigeria has extended the conduct of vaccination for the second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Both the second dose and the reopened first dose vaccination will now close on 5th July 2021. This means the nationwide phase 1 COVID-19 vaccination will end on 5th July 2021. To receive full protection against COVID-19, Nigerians 18 years and above who had their first dose on or before the 5th of May 2021 should urgently visit the nearest vaccination site to receive the second dose. Nigerians who took their first dose of AstraZeneca vaccine outside the country and now eligible for the second dose can visit the nearest vaccination post in Nigeria and get vaccinated with the second dose. After you have been fully vaccinated, continue to observe COVID-19 prevention protocols such as wearing a mask in public, washing your hands regularly, and maintaining social distance. COVID-19 vaccination is free, safe, and effective. For more information and to find your nearest vaccination site, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 0700 220-1122. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sahad Abubakar III, cordially invites all 35 executive members to the inauguration of the Intertribal Traditional Leaders Association of Nigeria, scheduled to take place as follows. Date, Friday, July 2nd, 2021. Venue, Mina Event Center, Kano. Time, 3 p.m. Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Kayode Fayemi, Ekiti State Governor, Chairman, Nigeria Governors Forum. His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sahad Abubakar III, His Royal Highness, Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Eniton Ogunwusi, His Royal Majesty, Obi of Onitsha, Nwaemeka Alfred Achebe, Royal Father of the Day, His Highness, the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero. Host, His Highness, Eze Sirkindigo, Kano, Dr. Boniface Ibekwe. Chief Host, His Excellency, Executive Governor of Kano State, Alhaji Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. You are welcome to Kano. His Highness, Eze Sirkindigo, Kano, Dr. Boniface Ibekwe, Announcer.
Hello, madam. Would you like to join us on this mission?
Yes, but how?
Just one question for you. How do you keep your toilet clean?
I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I have been using it for years.
Oh, madam, the regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes. To disinfect your toilet properly, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for germs and stains remover. Harpic sticker formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergent and bleach.
Wow!
Everybody, make una come here. INEC go begin the register people on Monday, 28th of June 2021. The registration with them they call CVR, they for people who don't reach 18 years and they never register before, and people with their PVC don't bafuka, abi don't loss, plus including people who want transfer their registration, go where them they live now. This exercise go follow hella people who want correct any informate on top their PVC or where their card get accreditation problem for the last election. make una use internet. Go our Ogbonge online voter registration portal, cvr.inec.gov.ng or cvr.inecnigeria.org. Enter all your informate. Come collect date where you go INEC state or local government office. Make them capture your fingerprint and photo. This message now from Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Now we they make una vote count. Now we they make our democracy stand gidigba.
Equity and fairness, with the understanding of the principles of Federal Character Commission issues such as inter-ethnic strifes, underdevelopment, revenue losses, unemployment, and insecurity in Nigeria. The Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs, in collaboration with the Presidency, presents a 4-day stakeholders conference on the mandate of the Federal Character Commission and nation building. Special guest of honor, His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Oshimbajo. Guest of honor, President of the Senate, Chairman, National Assembly, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Ahmad Ibrahim Lawan, CON. Chief host, His Excellency, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, Governor of Akwa Ibom State. Co-host, Senator Danjuma La, Chairman, Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs. And Boss Mustafa, Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Date 1st to 4th July 2021. Venue, Wattbridge Hotels and Suites, Uyo. Time, 9 a.m. daily.
The Federal Ministry of Information and Culture cordially invites the general public to a town hall meeting. Theme is Protecting Oil and Gas Infrastructure. Date, Monday, July 5th, 2021. Time is 10 a.m. Venue is NAF Conference Center, Abuja. Chief host, the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed. Panelists include Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipre Silva. Honorable Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk, Honorable Minister of Environment, Dr. Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar, Announcer, Dr. Mrs. Ifoma Adaura Anyawutako, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Come, let's discuss the progress of our nation.
You're still watching NTN Network News, and we are not done with PIB because Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed says government is excited about the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill by the Senate and insists subsidy on petrol must give more fiscal room for meaningful development. She was speaking at the public consultation on the draft 2022 to 2024 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper. Leah Katun Babatunde completes the story.
The public consultation is the first in the series before the draft document is made into a working medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper. 13.98 trillion naira is the planned expenditure for 2022. Upscaling revenues is the biggest task before policymakers at the moment as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. 900 billion naira is being planned for payment of subsidies, but the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed says resting the unsustainable subsidy regime is long overdue.
So we do need to get rid of subsidy completely. That is our view in the ministry. It's not a popular view by Labour, but that will be the most practical thing to do. Right now, we're subsidizing not only consumption in Nigeria, but consumption within the whole region. We have a price of about 165 naira, $10, but our neighbors are selling PMS at about $500. So the beneficiaries are actually the marketers that are taking this fuel from Nigeria across to our neighboring countries. They're the ones that are making the profit.
A look at the macroeconomic projections driving the plan show oil prices standing at $57 in 2022 and production at 1.88 million barrels per day. Inflation 13% in 2022. 10% in 2024, with GDP rising by 4.2% in 2022 and 2.3% in 2024.
And if the necessary reforms that we project, like the removals of some of these subsidies, we will have a lot of funds available to be able to grow our GDP higher than our population.
The draft 2022 to 2024 MTF and FSP has been prepared against the backdrop of global economic recovery amidst improved vaccination outlook and lower incidence of infection. In Abuja, Lekatung Baba today, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government has welcomed the proposal by Pan-African financial institution Afrexim Bank to invest $2.5 billion in the Nigerian economy with focus on oil and gas, health and manufacturing sectors. Secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, while receiving Afrexim Bank's management in Abuja, says the investments would further reposition Nigeria as an economic hub in Africa. Meitare Igben reports.
Afrexim Bank's multi-billion-dollar investments in Nigeria will include an African Medical Center of Excellence in Abuja that will offer a full range of medical services covering oncology and cardiovascular treatment. The aim is to promote intra-Africa medical tourism with Nigeria as a hub.
We will also support Nigeria to begin to manufacture pharmaceuticals, especially vaccines.
The federal government views Afrexim Bank's decision to increase its investment portfolio in Nigeria as an indication of the country's viability for foreign direct investments.
We need every support from financial institutions that have the capacity and the knowledge to help us sustain the modest gains that have been made.
The SGF equally played host to Cross River State Governor Professor Ben Ayade, who describes his recent defection to the All Progressives Congress as a good omen for economic partnership with the federal government.
I think that the superhighway and the deep sea port, which is what I shared intimately with the SGF, is the way to go to be able to open a vista of opportunity for northern Nigeria.
In Abuja, Meitare Igben, NTA News.
The federal government has commended the professionalism with which Nigerian security agencies collaborated with their foreign counterparts to arrest Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and his repatriation to Nigeria to resume his trial. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed stated this at the media briefing in Abuja. Anthony Forson reports.
Nnamdi Kanu is facing an 11-count charge of treasonable felony, terrorism and illegal possession of firearms, among others. But he jumped bail and left the country. On Tuesday, after he was rearrested, he was arraigned in court and ordered to be remanded in the custody of the DSS, while the case has been adjourned till July 26th and 27th.
It will interest Nigerians to know that for over 2 years, our security and intelligence agencies were on the trail of the proscribed IPOB leader as he lived a 5-star life across several countries, traveling on chartered private jets, living in luxurious apartments, and turning out in designer clothes and shoes.
Lai Mohammed added that forensic investigation carried out has revealed very important and useful information.
While the investigation continues, we assure you that none of the collaborators, irrespective of their standing in the society, they will all face the full wrath of the law for their activities that challenge our nation's sovereignty and threatens its unity.
On calls for Kanu to have a fair trial, Lai Mohammed has this to say.
Many are suddenly calling for a fair trial for Kanu, as if he didn't get one before. He decided to jump bail and flee. However, I can assure you that the fair deal that Kanu denied many of the victims of the violence which he willfully instigated through his broadcasts and tweets will not be denied him.
The minister maintained that the rearrest was made possible by diligent efforts of Nigerian security and intelligence agencies in collaboration with countries Nigeria has obligations with. In Abuja, Anthony Fossen, NTA News.
Now let's get more stories from our Lagos Network Center with Michael.
Thank you, Joseph. Lagos State House of Assembly is working on a bill to criminalize trading in human organs by residents in any parts of the state. Musa Toliat reports that the bill, which has killed the second reading, prescribes 10 years jail term without an option for fine for perpetrators.
The move by the Lagos State House of Assembly to criminalize trading in human organs may not be unconnected with the spate of incidents involving human organ harvest in some parts of the metropolis. Clause 33 of the bill, which has killed the second reading, stipulates that any person who removes the organs of another person for a reason other than therapeutic purposes has committed an offense punishable under the law.
Part 2 of the bill also talk about the creation of departments for the purpose of organ harvest and transplants in the Ministry of Health.
The bill will not only help in putting a stop to organ trafficking for monetary gains, it will also protect minors and the mentally ill whose organs should not be harvested without the consent of their next of kin.
Where it is not only the hospitals that are regulated, the medical practitioner that will operate in the hospital are also regulated, to be sure that organ harvest and transplantation is not all commerce affair.
You even talk about certification permit, that those hospitals given certificate permit must ensure that they keep to those requirements, otherwise it is revoked.
Speaker, Lagos House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa said that the bill is the best thing that would happen to the state, adding that it would help those with terminal organ failure to live, as there would be certified organ transplant for them.
If there's a provision for those who involve, in human body parts, limbs, and all sorts that we consider to be ritually, so we can use, the bill to criminalize such actions.
The bill was, however, committed to the House Committee on Health Services for public hearing and to report back to the Assembly in 2 weeks. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Drug abuse has sadly become social and security concerns, judging by recent events. Adeni Taiwo reports that experts are calling for deliberate social reorientation and youth engagement that can address youth's vulnerability to drugs.
Is not evenly distributed. Same for drug abuse and its ability to blur the lines between reality and illusion, sanity and depravity. Out of the 14.3 million Nigerians who are into illicit use of drugs, 77%, constituting about 10.6 million, abuse cannabis. Out of this figure, Lagos State and Southwest Nigeria have 22.4% burden.
There is no area of Lagos that does not have a drug joint.
The nation's commercial capital is also a staging area for growing crimes such as rape, armed robbery, traffic robbery, cultism, and of late, drug-induced murder. Any doubt about the link between drug abuse and crime is wiped away by the open confession of Chidinma Ojukwu, a 21-year-old undergraduate who blamed the influence of hard drug for the murder of Super TV Chief Executive Officer Michael Yusufu Ataga.
We ordered for smoke and also roofies together, so that's what we took.
While such drugs, as mentioned by Chidinma, may be too expensive and beyond the reach of many addicts, other variants with equal devastating effects, including codeine, diazepam, and tramadol, are in circulation, ruining lives.
It's a social menace that we need to curb because we know that generally drug abuse, drug misuse have bad influence on individuals who administer these to themselves.
Experts are indeed worried about the growing influence of substance abuse as a factor of insecurity in the country.
We have seen, we have recorded many cases that were actually triggered by drug misuse or drug abuse.
What are the socializing agents in the society? The parents, the peers, the school, the whole community. This area also needs a lot of programs. Parenting programs are key. There's life skills training for peers.
These experts believe that members of the society must join the campaign by being vigilant and promoting values that can serve as incentives against drug abuse. In Lagos, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. More reports after this break. Please stay.
Finding it difficult to further your studies? If you are, here is an opportunity for you. Ahmadu Bello University Digital Learning Center has brought education to your doorstep. With this program, you have the liberty to interact with your lecturers 24 hours without coming to the physical campus. The courses offered by Ahmadu Bello University Digital Learning Center. New courses have also been introduced. For more information, visit www.abudlc.edu.ng or send an email to support@abudlc.edu.ng or call the following numbers: 081-5300-0010.
Here is a very tough guy who knocks out every opponent, but now he's been knocked down by malaria.
Amatem Soft Gel.
Amatem Soft Gel makes treating malaria easy. Amatem Soft Gel is a game changer.
Oh! The opponent is down! Amatem Soft Gel are good to combat malaria for body.
Available for adults and children. Say no to malaria. Yes to life.
My son has always dreamt of being in the spotlight. As his mother, it is my duty to help him live up to his dream. That's why I give him Born Vita every day, which contains iron, zinc, and vitamin C that supports his immunity and gives him the strength to pursue his dreams. Born Vita, strength to dream.
Helen Paul! Hello, madam. Would you like to join us on this mission?
Yes, but how?
Just one question for you. How do you keep your toilet clean?
I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I have been using it for years.
Oh, madam, the regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes.
To disinfect your toilet properly, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for germs and stains remover. Harpic sticker formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergent and bleach.
Wow!
Let's get to talking business, and here is Benny.
Thank you, Joseph, and welcome to Business. The Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NAIT, has welcomed the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill, PIB, in a statement by Obiagili Onora in Abuja shortly after the NAS decision. The Executive Secretary of NAIT, Oji Ogbonnaya Oji, described the decision of the National Assembly as bold, considering the bill's more than 15 years legislative journey. As an anti-corruption agency in the sector, NAIT disclosed that over $10.4 billion and 378.7 billion naira were lost through under-remittances, inefficiencies, theft, or absence of a clear governance framework for the oil and gas industry. Dr. Aji is optimistic that with the new governance law for the industry, this huge revenue will be strictly checked, if not eliminated. And still on oil, the 31st meeting of the Joint Ministerial Monitoring Committee of the Petroleum Exporting Countries is forecasting oil demand to grow by 6 million barrels per day to around 96.6 million barrels per day on average for the year.
Close eye on market dynamics and developments.
On Nigeria and OPEC at 50 years of partnership, Minister of State Petroleum Resources Timipre Silva says Nigeria lends its full support to the efforts of the organization towards balancing and stabilizing the global oil market, in addition to contributing to the evolution of the OPEC Secretariat and the development of the organization. The meeting has been adjourned to continue Friday at 1500 hours and 16:30 Central European Summer Time via video conference. And on the capital markets, investors lost 4.55 billion naira as NGX all-share index dips marginally by 0.2% amid positive market breadth. Equities closed at 37,898.56 basis points as against 0.71% appreciation recorded previously. Market breadth closed positive as Triple G led 20 gainers as against 14 losers, topped by Royal X at the end of today's session. Guarantee and Benefit and Wema Bank were the most active to boost market turnover. Well, that is business. Joseph, is over to you.
Thank you, Penny. Team Quester of the Cross River University of Science and Technology has emerged the champion of the maiden edition of the Science Technology Innovation Competition. The program, organized for undergraduates from Nigerian universities by the NCDMB in collaboration with Inactus, had the grand finale held at the Nigerian Content Tower, Yenagoa, with 6 teams competing for the top winning slots with product presentations and business plans. Aya Prezi has the rest of the report.
An excitement when the champion of the competition, Cross River State University of Science and Technology Calabar, was eventually announced, with a cash prize of 10 million naira for the team and 750,000 naira for the faculty guide. The second and third positions went to University of Jos and Federal University of Agriculture Makurdi, with cash prizes of 4 million naira and 1.5 million naira, while 500,000 naira and 250,000 naira were equally given to their faculty guides.
The idea is that within that center of incubation, these people will be led through until their products are commercialized and they start making returns out of it.
Working with young people across over 30 tertiary institutions, and the whole essence is to provide opportunities such as these to develop their capacity.
Our policy is that in every local government area of Bayelsa State, there has to be established.
From the U.S. Consulate, Lagos, Bank of Industry, and Chevron Nigeria Limited, among others, affirmed that science and technology innovation are critical tools to shape the society.
The product we presented here today is Easy Cook,
and it's going to hit the market.
In another development, the Executive Secretary, NCDMB Simbi Wabote, has signed an MOU with the Nixon Bank Chairperson Sectoral Diversity Working Group of Nigerian Content Consultative Forum, Alero Nosode, and the Managing Director of Nixon Bank, optimistic that the intervention fund will go a long way to enhance the operational capacity of women in the oil and gas sector, many of whom are being described by the NCDMB boss as very professional, focused, and result-oriented. In Yenagoa, Aya Prezi, NG News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has approved and directs immediate disbursement of fertilizer subsidy fund to smallholder vulnerable farmers in the country. A statement by his Special Assistant on Agriculture, Andrew Kwasari, says the benefiting farmers have been enumerated in the database of Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. The statement further indicates that the disbursement will be in batches, starting with Batch A, covering approximately 1.3 million farmers with total subsidy of 6.2 million. This will enable the farmer source fertilizer in the open market. Farmers enumerated but without BVN and bank accounts are encouraged to hasten to the nearest bank to open bank accounts and get BVN in order to benefit. The Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, is one of several notable figures and institutions being recognized for adding value to the fight against insecurity in Nigeria. Abdullahi Mohammed tells us more.
Insecurity, a global concern. Winning the fight, a collective effort. Management and intelligence sharing, critical. and for being consistent in the discharge of these roles. The Director General, Nigeria Television Authority, was found to be excellent. His Director News stood in for him with a reassurance of NTA's continuous support.
NTA remains committed in partnering with the nation's security agencies towards maintaining peace and security, because nothing can be achieved without peace and security. And we all know the situation in our country now, which is bedeviled by a lot of security challenges. So this is in recognition of that contribution of the NTA and the Director General in particular towards ensuring that peace and security are restored in the country.
A compendium which seeks to guide the public in supporting security agents in keeping the peace was introduced.
I want to say, without missing word, that national security concerns is everybody's business.
A song was also dedicated to peace and security in Nigeria. In Abuja, Abdullah Mohammed, NTN.
The Katsina Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service has stepped up sensitization of stakeholders in border communities and government's campaign to end smuggling activities in Nigeria. Shehu Adamu reports that the initiative follows a directive by the Controller General of the service.
Worried by the dwindling economic fortunes of its citizens, the federal government has initiated ease of doing business and trade facilitation policies to protect local economy and improve the nation's revenue base for meaningful development. Following the development, the Katsina Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service has embarked on the sensitization of border communities to key into the initiative with a view to achieving the desired objectives of creating jobs and suppress smuggling activities. Leading the sensitization to Bobombutum border community, acting controller of the Katsina Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service, Dalhawa Dache, said the initiative is yielding positive results as similar fora were held at Jibia and Kongolan border posts.
Looking back at those we conducted at Jibia and the Kongolan centers, people started coming forward to explain to them, to give them the way out, means the response was really positive.
The stakeholders expressed appreciation for the sensitization, describing it as the first of its kind, and pledged to take advantage of the available opportunities to drive the nation's economy.
Love the nation and to encourage our youth.
In Katsina, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
Nigerian ambassador to Qatar, Yakubu Abdullahi Ahmed, has presented his letters of credence to Emir of the State of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani in Doha. The Nigerian ambassador noted the slow pace of economic activities between the two countries, explaining that one of his major mandates was to spur such activities for the benefit of the two nations. He therefore sought for the support of the Emir in the eradication of all obstacles hindering the flow of investment from Qatar in the areas of agriculture, oil and gas, infrastructure and mining. The Emir of Qatar congratulated the Nigerian ambassador and reiterated their confidence that he will take the warm and cordial relations which Qatar and Nigeria enjoys to greater heights. The Emir of Qatar assures the Nigerian envoy of his sovereign support to succeed in the discharge of his mandates. Next is sports.
Thank you, Joseph. Welcome to Sports Update. I am Tamara Ebiwe. Participating states across the country have started arriving in Abuja for the 2021 National Hockey Super League, built for the hockey pitch, Package B of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Saturday, July 3. Defending champions, Niger Flickers, runners of Kada Stars, are already in camp, finalizing preparations for the league season.
Everything is in place to ensure that we have a very, very successful competition. The essence of doing that is to be able to now have a true representative for the African Club Championship, which is coming up in...
Away from hockey now, Nigeria Super Eagles have arrived in Los Angeles in the USA for Saturday's international friendly with Mexico at the imposing Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Organizers expect a full capacity stadium, which will make it the most attended since COVID-19 restrictions began. Staying with football, Nigeria's Super Eagles and Super Falcons will now have the opportunity of engaging in more international friendlies with the USA during FIFA windows in a meeting held in Baltimore Wednesday, June 30, 2021. President of the Nigeria Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick, and the Governor of Maryland, Boyd Rutherford, agreed to collaborate to enhance the development of football in Nigeria and the state of Maryland in the USA. And finally, talking Euro 2020, Switzerland will square up against Spain Friday in their quest to secure a semi-final slot in the ongoing Euro 2020. Belgium have Italy to contend with in a match that will be live on the NTA at 7 p.m. On Saturday, Czech Republic battle Denmark, while Ukraine go toe-to-toe with England. And that's Sports Update. Joseph, take it from here.
Tamara, thank you. Let's just take a short break. Stay with us.
Euro 2020 is here. Enjoy all the matches live on Star Times for only 1,700 naira monthly or 160 naira per day. Recharge now to enjoy all the matches. Watch Cristiano Ronaldo of Portugal, Mbappe of France, Lukaku of Belgium, and other top European football stars. No matter where you are, Star Times is here for you. You can enjoy all these matches on your mobile phone. Just download Star Times on app on your phone to watch all the matches for 1,000 naira monthly or 400 naira weekly. Recharge today with 1,700 naira monthly or 160 naira daily. That's right, you heard me. On Star Times, you can watch all the matches with monthly subscription of 1,700 naira or daily subscription of 160 naira. Terms and conditions apply. Star Times, enjoy digital life.
President.
Take place under this administration.
Well, I don't want you to conclude on me.
All right, so
yes, we actually would like to, but you have also mentioned something very important.
Right.
Mentioned the issue of palliatives.
Right. Oil and gas under the Buhari administration. That's on one with the Minister of State, Petroleum Resources.
People don't realize in Nigeria that a gas cylinder has a manufacture date and an expiry date. So a lot of expired cylinders were also brought into the country.
One on One, Friday, 10:30 p.m. on NTA.
President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed sadness over the death of Zamfara state lawmaker Muhammad Ahmad, who was killed by gunmen while driving to Kano along Shema Funtua Road. In a condolence message, President Buhari reiterated his directive to law enforcement agencies and the military to deal sternly with anti-social elements that create violence under whatever guise. He prayed Allah to forgive the soul of the deceased and grant his family the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. And that's NTA Network News for tonight. Thank you very much indeed for your company. I'm Joseph Johnson. Do remember to always connect with the NTA to stand against rape and rapists. Good night.